Section 10 of English Synonyms and Antonyms. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Mario Pineda. English Synonyms and Antonyms by James Champlin Fernald. Ask to attain. Ask. Synonyms: beg, beseech, crave, demand, entreat, implore, petition, pray, request, require, solicit, supplicate. One asks what he feels that he may fairly claim and reasonably expect. If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, Luke 11:11, he begs for that to which he advances no claim but pity. Demand is a determined and often an arrogant word. One may rightfully demand what is his own or his due, when it is withheld or denied. Or he may wrongfully demand that to which he has no claim but power. Require is less arrogant and intrusive than demand, but is exceedingly strenuous, as the court requires the attendance of witnesses. Entreat implies a special earnestness of asking, and beseech a still added and more humble intensity. Beseech was formerly often used as a polite intensive for beg or pray, as I beseech you to tell me. To implore is to ask with weeping and lamentation. To supplicate is to ask, as it were, on bended knees. Crave and request are somewhat formal terms. Crave has almost disappeared from conversation. Request would seem distant between parent and child. Pray is now used chiefly to address to the Supreme Being. Petition is used of written request to persons in authority, as to petition the legislature to pass an act or the governor to pardon an offender. Antonyms: claim, command, deny, enforce, exact, extort, insist, refuse, reject. Prepositions: ask a person for a thing, ask a thing of or from a person, ask after or about one's health, welfare, friends, etc. Associate. Synonyms: accomplice, ally, chum, coadjutor, colleague, companion, comrade, confederate, consort, fellow, friend, helpmate, mate, partner, peer. An associate as used officially implies a chief, leader, or principal to whom the associate is not fully equal in rank. Associate is popularly used of mere friendly relations, but oftener implies some work, enterprise, or pursuit in which the associated persons unite. We rarely speak of associates in crime or wrong, using confederates or accomplices instead. Companion gives itself with equal readiness to the good or evil sense, as also does comrade. One may be a companion in trouble who would not readily become an associate at home. A lady advertises for a companion. She would not advertise for an associate. Peer implies equality rather than companionship, as a jury of his peers. Comrade expresses more fellowship and good feeling than companion. Fellow has almost gone out of use in this connection, except in an inferior or patronizing sense. Consort is a word of equality and dignity, as applied especially to the marriage relation. Compare accessory, acquaintance, friendship. Antonyms: antagonist, enemy, foe, hinderer, opponent, opposer, rival, stranger. Prepositions: these were the associates of the leader in the enterprise. Association. Synonyms: alliance, club, community, companionship, company, confederacy, confederation, conjunction, connection, corporation, familiarity, federation, fellowship, fraternity, friendship, lodge, participation, partnership, society, union. We speak of an alliance of nations, a club of pleasure seekers, a community of shakers, a company of soldiers or of friends, a confederacy, confederation, federation, or union of separate states under one general government, a partnership or company of businessmen, a conjunction of planets. The whole body of Freemasons constitute a fraternity. One of their local organizations is called a lodge. A corporation or company is formed for purposes of business. An association or society, though also incorporated, is for learning, literature, benevolence, religion, etc. Compare associate, acquaintance, friendship. Antonyms: disintegration, independence, isolation, separation, solitude. Prepositions: an association of scholars for the advancement of knowledge. Association with the good is ennobling. Assume. Synonyms: accept, affect, appropriate, arrogate, claim, feign, postulate, presume, pretend, put on, take, usurp. The distinctive idea of assume is to take by one's own independent volition, whether well or ill, rightfully or wrongfully. One may accept an obligation or assume an authority that properly belongs to him, or he may assume an obligation or indebtedness that could not be required of him. He may assume authority or office that is his right. If he assumes what does not belong to him, he is said to arrogate or usurp it. A man may usurp the substance of power in the most unpretending way. What he arrogates to himself he assumes with a haughty and overbearing manner. One assumes the robes or insignia of office by putting them on, with or without right. If he takes to himself the credit and appearance of qualities he does not possess, he is said to affect or feign or to pretend to the character he thus assumes. What a debater postulates he openly states and takes for granted without proof. What he assumes he may take for granted without mention. A favorite trick of this office is quietly to assume as true what would at once be challenged if expressly stated. When a man claims he asserts his right to take, what he assumes he takes. Assurance. Synonyms: arrogance, assertion, assumption, boldness, confidence, effrontery, impudence, presumption, self-assertion, self-confidence, self-reliance, trust. Assurance may have the good sense of a high, sustained confidence and trust, as the saint's assurance of heaven. Confidence is founded upon reasons. Assurance is largely a matter of feeling. In the bad sense, assurance is a vicious courage, with belief of one's ability to outwit or defy others. The hardened criminal is remarkable for habitual assurance. For the calm conviction of one's own rectitude and ability, self-confidence is a better word than assurance. Self-reliance expresses confidence in one's own resources, independently of others' aid. In the bad sense, assurance is less gross than impudence, which is, according to its etymology, a shameless boldness. Assurance is an act or manner. Impudence may be in a speech. Effrontery is impudence defiantly displayed. Compare faith, pride. Antonyms: bashfulness, confusion, consternation, dismay, distrust, doubt, hesitancy, misgiving, shyness, timidity. Astute. Synonyms: acute, clear-sighted, crafty, cunning, discerning, discriminating, keen, knowing, penetrating, penetrative, perspicacious, sagacious, sharp, shrewd, subtile, subtle. Acute from the Latin suggests the sharpness of the needle's point. Keen from the Saxon, the sharpness of the cutting edge. Astute from the Latin, with the original sense of cunning, has come to have a meaning that combines the sense of acute or keen with that of sagacious. The astute mind adds to acuteness and keenness an element of cunning or finesse. The astute debater leads his opponents into a snare by getting them to make admission or urge arguments of which he sees a result that they do not perceive. The acute, keen intellect might take no special advantage of these qualities. The astute mind has always a point to make for itself, and seldom fails to make it. A knowing look, air, etc., in general, indicates practical knowledge with a touch of shrewdness and perhaps of cunning. In regard to some special matter, it indicates the possession of reserved knowledge which the person could impart if he chose. Knowing has often a slightly invidious sense. We speak of a knowing rascal, meaning cunning or shrewd within a narrow range, but of a knowing horse or dog in a sense of sagacious, implying that he knows more than could be expected of such an animal. A knowing child has more knowledge than would be looked for at his years, perhaps more than is quite desirable, while to speak of a child as intelligent is altogether complimentary. Antonyms: blind, dull, idiotic, imbecile, shallow, short-sighted, stolid, stupid, undiscerning, unintelligent. Attachment. Synonyms: adherence, adhesion, affection, devotion, esteem, estimation, friendship, inclination, love, regard, tenderness, union. An attachment is a feeling that binds a person by ties of heart to another person or thing. We speak of a man's adherence to his purpose, his adhesion to his party, or to anything to which he clings tenaciously, though with no especial tenderness; of his attachment to his church, to the old homestead, or to any persons or objects that he might hold dear. Affection expresses more warmth or feeling. We should not speak of a mother's attachment to her babe, but of her affection or of her devotion. Inclination expresses simply a tendency, which may be good or bad, yielded to or overcome, as an inclination to study, an inclination to drink. Regard is more distant than affection or attachment, but closer and warmer than esteem. We speak of high esteem, kind regard. Compare acquaintance, appendage, friendship, love, union. Antonyms: alienation, animosity, antipathy, aversion, coolness, dislike, distance, divorce,